to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining me for another one of my videos. So when I took over the Soul and Spirit magazine Facebook page, I did a few Facebook lives, and so many of you, even you guys, my followers, have been asking me to do a video on how I got over my anxiety and depression. And I suppose the reason that I've put this video off for so long is because I really had to think about what I actually did to overcome it and talk about my process, and to really think about the tools and techniques I actually use, because to be honest, I did forget a lot of it, and I wanted to really make this video worthwhile and beneficial to you instead of me just like waffling on about stuff. So yeah, that's the reason why I wanted to like really think about it and take time to like construct a proper video. And as a disclaimer, because I'm going to have to do this as I did on the Facebook Live, I am not a medical expert. I'm not trained at all or qualified to speak about this. I'm talking about my own personal experiences. What you choose to do with that information is your own responsibility, and my advice does not replace any medical advice whatsoever. So I had anxiety and depression for 4 years of my life, and I definitely got through it 2 years ago, 100%, and have never looked back since, thank God. And what was the turning point for me was when I split up from my ex-boyfriend, and I found the law of attraction and transformed my life entirely. So the book which ultimately cured me, because when we split up, I was absolutely inconsolable. I had spiraled into such a bad depression. I was suicidal. I just didn't have any passion or flair for life. I didn't even want to be here anymore. And that's really sad, because I'm just not that type of person at all. Like, I'm not. And when you see what I've done with my life since, like, I've transformed it, made my life the best life, and I'm so happy now. So it's 100% possible to pull yourself out of this. It's 100% possible to feel happy again and be you again. Like, that's what you want to be. You want to be you. So it is possible. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So I first got anxiety when it was like 2012, 2013. Like, basically I was with my first ex-boyfriend, and that relationship was quite like controlling and quite suppressing, I guess. Like, it just wasn't healthy at all. And I started off by getting a fear of going to work. Like, every time I got on the bus, and I remember my first panic attack, it was horrible. I felt like I was having a heart attack. Like, my chest seized up, I was going to be sick. Like, I honestly thought I was dying. It was horrible. Like, I generally was like, shit, do I like call out for help right now? I'm sat on a bus, like, ugh. So ever since then, like, and it was always when I was going to work. So I was in £7,000 worth of debt at that time, thanks to my ex, and I was also working at the bank, which I hated. So I was putting people in debt every single day, and I was in debt myself. So it wasn't a surprise to see where that anxiety came from whatsoever. And I had no idea how I was going to get myself out of this debt or even out of that relationship. So every morning when I got on the bus, I'd have these panic attacks. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening to me? And it got so bad that I actually got signed off work ill. I would break down in the toilets and have a breakdown. I just couldn't be there anymore. And like, I got myself signed off work ill, and I couldn't even leave the house at that point. I wouldn't leave the house. I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't even go to the local shop. It was soul destroying. And I just had absolutely no support at all over it. Like, nobody just like picked me up and was like, we're gonna fix this. Like, it just didn't happen at all. Like, my boyfriend at the time didn't care. Like, I don't think my parents really understood it. So I was so much on my own, and it was horrible, and it very quickly spiraled into depression. So at that point, my dad took me to go and get Cbt Hypnotherapy. So I tried counselling, and to be honest, I don't rate counselling at all. I think it's terrible. You talk and bring up things, but they don't give you any tools to fix those things. So it was like ripping off a plaster, but then how was I going to fix it? So counselling did not work for me at all. CBT definitely worked. So I wanted to do the hypnotherapy because I felt like it would really help me more to just like sit and have someone talk into my mind basically and hypnotize me into being happy again. And yeah, I went to this lovely lady for a couple of months, and she was absolutely incredible, and she did really help me. It definitely helped me. I had a CD that I could listen to at home with these, meditations and hypnotherapies on. And it just really resonated with me. The only problem was that it wasn't permanent. Like, it was so expensive to go every week, and I couldn't keep paying it because obviously I was unemployed at that point. And yeah, it just wasn't a prolonging effect. And that was because I wasn't getting out of that relationship. And I think the biggest thing is to really look at your life and look at what situations are causing that anxiety and depression, because mine was 100% that I was with the wrong person, and it took me leaving him to actually pull myself out of it. So I pulled myself out of it, got straight into another relationship, which was the worst thing I could have done, and I was all right for 6 to 7 months, and then it all came back again, and it came back with a fucking vengeance. And I completely lost myself this time. It was fully depression, and that relationship was so toxic. Like, it was horrible, it was abusive, it was just emotionally abusive, like it was fucking horrible, and I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, to be honest. And it absolutely soul destroyed me, because I lost who I was, I lost my will to live, I lost absolutely everything. And again, like, I was having these panic attacks, and I got put on antidepressants, which was the worst thing ever, and I am not a fan of antidepressants. Obviously, you do what you will with that advice. It's no replacement for medical advice, but I strongly disagree with antidepressants. I think they're terrible. I think that, you know, in some situations, I think they do help, definitely. But for me, they did not work, and I just do not agree with the concept of them whatsoever. So I came off them because they actually made me worse. Yep, antidepressants made me worse, and I just thought, fuck this. So that was when I split up with my second ex, and my whole world came crashing down. I'd hit rock bottom, I'd lost everything. I was just like, what the fuck am I doing in life? But it actually took me finding the law of attraction, and to find positivity, and to find my spiritual side. Like, this was all meant to spiritually awaken me, and this was what I needed to happen. And it was the best thing that ever happened to me. As horrible as that whole period was, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And 100% it was circumstantial. Like, you know, I don't believe that anxiety and depression is a chemical reaction. I feel it was actually a reaction to the circumstances I was in. And, you know, it's different for everybody. For some people, it generally is a chemical reaction. But for me, I never felt that. Like, I never felt a chemical reaction. I just didn't believe it when they said that. I was like, no, that's not right. Like, you know, I knew it was because I was with the wrong people. I just didn't want to leave them, and I didn't want to admit that. So by reading the book The Magic by Rhonda Byrne, this transformed my life. Now, in there, it obviously talked about setting the intentions for being grateful and manifesting stuff. So at that time, I genuinely wanted to manifest my ex back. Stupid, but I did. And I wasn't actually focused whatsoever on manifesting myself out of anxiety and depression. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know you could use the law of attraction to even do that. And to be honest, I didn't even think it could be fixed. I was just like, I just want to be happy. That was my intention. I want to be happy. I want to be fulfilled again. And, you know, at that point, I wanted my ex back. So I read The Magic, and I did all the practices. And within 2 weeks of doing that, and within 2 weeks of being single, I woke up one day, and those knots I felt in my stomach, that anxiety and that cloud that was hanging over me just vanished. And it was weird. I kind of woke up and I was like, I feel weird. Like, I felt weird. Like, every day for 4 years I'd had that knot in my stomach. I'd had that cloud over my head, and I like had this horrible thing lurking over me, and like all of a sudden it was just gone. And I was like, what? And to that, like, from that day to today, I have never had a panic attack since. I've never felt depressed, and it is all down to the law of attraction. And, you know, I unintentionally manifested it by setting the intention of wanting to be happy and wanting to be fulfilled and changing my life and focusing on self-love especially. It cured me. And if that's not the power of thoughts and the power of positivity, I don't know. So if you don't know what the law of attraction is, and you've clicked on this video more for like how to get out of anxiety and depression, I would strongly recommend reading this book, because it's such a great book for positivity. And the thing is with depression, and I've heard this saying somewhere, and I have no idea where I got it from. I'm pretty sure I've probably just channeled it. But I heard this saying that anxiety is because you're living in the future, and depression is because you're living in the past. And I really relate to that. I really strongly connect to that, because my anxieties I used to have were all connected to the future of like who I'd be with, who I'd marry, how my life would work out. It wasn't in the now and it wasn't in the past, it was all in the future. And then my depression was living in the past, of past events that had happened and not being able to get over them, not being able to deal with them. So I realized that by actually living in the now and focusing on the now and what's happening today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, absolutely today, and focusing solely on today and taking it one day at a time, that was what really, really helped me and changed my whole perception on my mindset and how to get myself out of it. So with the law of attraction, it teaches you to be grateful. And like when I was practicing my gratitude, it really just helped me to see how many blessings I actually had in my life. Like I was sat there saying, my whole world's fallen apart, like I've lost everything. No, I fucking hadn't. I had an extremely successful business that was paying my bills, that was putting a roof over my head, that was putting food on my table and clothes on my body, and like all the amazing technology and cameras and phones I had and Sky TV, it was fucking paying for all of that. I had a loving family who were there for me and supported me. I didn't have any friends at that point, they all fucked off, but that was the best thing that ever happened. So by even focusing on these small things of like, I've got myself, I'm here for myself, I love myself, and self-love is the best thing you can do. Like honestly, reading The Magic is so powerful because it helps you to really focus on self-love, really know your worth and know that you are incredible, because I believe anxiety and depression comes from giving your power to other people, and by reclaiming that power and realizing your own fucking worth and how amazing you are, like it just goes. And I am proof of that. It just disappeared. And I think that's the one thing I've struggled about when thinking of filming this video, because how do I explain to people that for 4 years I was crippled by this and then it just went one day? Like, how do you physically explain that? And the only way is by telling you I read this book and it changed my life. And this isn't like a promo or a paid advertisement. Honestly, if you watch my YouTube channel, my law of attraction videos, I've spoken about this book from day one because it has legit changed my life and is so, so powerful. And you know, law of attraction absolutely 100% works. I've turned my life around. I've manifested everything I've ever wanted in my life: the dream man, the dream career, the dream house, dream money, whatever. Like I have literally manifested my dream life. I'm living my best life, and that is all from doing the law of attraction and just loving myself wholeheartedly. So the best thing you can do to, you know, focus on yourself, and the best thing to do to get yourself out of this, is to really focus on you. Come out of the future, come out of the past, and meet yourself in the now. Address every day as it comes. Please read this book if you want to. I'll link it down below. It's so, so good. It'll be really cheap on Amazon. So please, please, please read it. Look up the law of attraction. I've got a whole playlist to look at. So look up the law of attraction, because believe me, it will change your whole entire existence. It will shift your perception. It will make you grateful for everything in your life. And you know, anxiety and depression is just not being grateful for what you have. And you know, like I said, it is a chemical reaction in some people, and it is more than that, definitely. But I do feel it's not looking at what you actually have. And you know, for the people who will sit there and probably comment on this video saying, oh well, I've tried and I can't get out of this, blah blah blah, it's your mindset. You're telling yourself you can't get out of this, so guess what? You're manifesting it. So you've got to stop talking negatively, you've got to start thinking positively, and just try this book. What have you got to lose? Try this book and I promise you it will change your life. I promise, literally promise. And like, I am absolute proof that you can walk out of anxiety and depression without medication, without counselling, without having to pay money. I literally paid $6.99, I think it was, for this book, and I've never looked back since. And you know, from this, from finding the law of attraction and from finding my spirituality, I have created what I do now. I have changed my business into, you know, my blogging, my YouTube, my spirituality, my law of attraction stuff. And now I do this for a job. I help other people. So see it as a blessing. Like, that had to happen to get me where I am today. That had to happen so I had the life experience to transform and to help other people. So this is not a burden, this is not some negative thing. God, the universe, whatever you believe in is not punishing you. This is all so you can add to your story, evolve and grow as a person, and just look at your circumstances, like look at your life. What can you change about it? Is it a bad relationship like it was with me, or is it something different? Like what you can change. If it's a bad job, walk away. If it's a relationship which isn't healthy, walk away. Like you always can. You can make a decision every single day. You can literally change your future at any point, and you can literally do what you want in life. And that is by regaining the power and not giving your power to other people. So I hope this video has helped you. And like I said, like the main tips I would say to really help you is to focus on yourself, focus on self-love 100%. Like self-love would be my biggest tip. Focus on being grateful for absolutely everything that's in your life. Please read the book. I will link it down below. That book will help you so much. And just be kind to yourself. Be understanding, be kind, be forgiving to yourself, and put yourself first, definitely. So please leave your comments in the comments box down below as well for any tips and advice you have for how you've dealt with law of attraction and getting over anxiety and depression. So thank you so much for watching my video. I appreciate all your views and likes. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new here, because I would love to see you again soon. And I'll see you in my next video, which will be next week. Lots of love, guys.